Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylee and today we are back on BooVille for one of our last speed builds. Today we'll be working on a pumpkin patch and a fall festival concert. I love how both of these areas turned out, so let's get right into it. Before we get into the build, I did want to go over a little bit of an update on this island. So if you watched our last video, in that video we made a little cul-de-sac with a big beautiful pumpkin patch centerpiece. And then in that video I said I wanted to continue the neighborhood over this direction, so that's exactly what I did. I went ahead and placed a bunch of the villager homes and a few of the island rep houses over here, so that's all of the villager homes on the island. And in that video I did mention that I didn't know if I was going to be able to keep all 6 of the island rep houses. However, I was able to fit the last 2 on the island, so I went ahead and added them over here. So we do have 16 total houses on the island, which I think is amazing. And then over in this area we will have our fall festival, which will be our last build, and then today we'll be working over here. And I did do a little bit of work beforehand and place down this pathing. I liked how it turned out, so I didn't want to erase it and redo it, so we'll just have a little bit of a head start on this build today. But let's take a quick look at our map as well. And from the map you can see we're in this top little corner on the left side where the museum square is, and that's exactly where we're going to be placing the museum, so let's go ahead and get into that part first. Because we are a little short on room over in this corner, I wanted to make sure we had enough room for the museum itself, plus plenty of room to have the little patches of pumpkins, so I did go ahead and pre-plan out where I wanted the museum to go. So I just marked that area off with some of our dirt pathing, and I think it looks great in this area. And even though we did do a little bit of pre-planning with all the dirt pathing for this build, we do still need to lay down some of the dark dirt and light dirt pathing for the pumpkin patches, so we'll need to whip out our hard hat to get working on this actual build. I also wanted to mention that we've almost incorporated all of the in-game buildings on this island. We previously placed the 2 shops, Nook's Cranny and the Taylor Sisters, and then today we're using the museum, which I don't think I've ever decorated around the building version of the museum before. I have, however, decorated around the tent version on 2 of my islands. And speaking of that, I did just release an island tour of my first ever completed island, and on that island I did decorate around the tent version, so if you are a member at the Super Cow level or higher, you should be able to watch that video now. But anyways, I was saying that we have used a lot of the in-game buildings on this island. However, there is one more building, I guess you can call it, that we haven't used, and that's the campsite. When I was planning out the little concert build that we'll be working on a little bit later in this video, I was thinking maybe of using the campsite for that build because I saw this build on Pinterest, and this was the whole reason I was inspired to make like a little concert build in the first place. But once I mapped out the 4x4 grid of where I wanted it to go for this build, it just didn't leave a whole lot of room for the rest of the build, which I didn't like because I don't want this corner of the island to feel too cramped. So spoiler alert, we don't end up using the campsite for that build. But now I have no idea what to do with the campsite because we just have the fall festival to complete and then the island is basically done. So this brings up the question of, do I just leave the campsite on the beach? And if I do leave it on the beach, do I actually decorate the beaches on this island? If you know me at all, I basically never decorate the beaches, but I do love when I see islands with decorated beaches. It just gives the island a more like complete feel. I might be able to fit the campsite on the beach next to the fall festival on the upper left beach of the island, and then to me it would look like the people running the festival are staying in the tent. Because don't people who run carnivals usually like travel with the whole setup? I don't know if that's true, I don't really know how it works, but that's what I've seen like in movies or TV shows. And then my other thought for the campsite would be to leave it on one of the longer beaches at the bottom of the island and just make a beach campsite with a bunch of the kids' tent. So those are my 2 thoughts on what we can do with the campsite, but definitely leave your suggestions down in the comments below. But yeah, I think I might actually decorate the beaches on this island. And then I also wanted to let you know that I actually decorated the inside of my house. So I believe in another video I was talking about ideas for decorating the inside of my house, and one of those ideas was to make a haunted house. So that's exactly what I did. I even got little signs to go out front of the house that say haunted house, so when you're visiting you can see it. I don't think I'll show the inside of the house till the DA release and the island tour, because it will be like a cute little surprise for you. And I know I mentioned that I won't be decorating the inside of the villager homes because I don't want a complete happy home paradise on this island, and that's part of the reason why we chose the villagers that we ended up picking, because their houses already matched the theme, so we didn't have to like redecorate the outside of them. But I was thinking of maybe decorating the insides of the island rep houses. That way there are at least 6 houses that you can walk through when you come to visit the island. All of those homes are accessible, which I wanted to make sure of because in the dream address all of those island reps will be walking around the island, and I think that is just so cute to see them walking around. And that was one of the things I was actually kind of sad about on Rebel. My house was on a 2nd level cliff with a vine, so my character was basically stuck on like 4 tiles and couldn't leave the outside of my house. And I love seeing them walk around the island, so that's one thing I kept in mind while placing all of the homes on this island. But yeah, I might actually decorate the inside of those houses, so if you know any creators that are really good at interiors, link them in the comments for me because I need all the inspiration I can get for these houses. Also, one more thing with the characters, I don't actually think I've mentioned this in one of my videos, but I made all of the island reps based on characters from the show Shameless because I've been binge watching that show for a while now, and I needed some ideas of who to actually create. So we have Fiona, Frank, Veronica, and Kev from that show, and then obviously we have myself, and then I also created my husband as a character on the island also. But I want to update all of their comments on their passports, so when you come to visit you can talk to them and they'll have something cute or sweet to say to you. But I don't know what I want them to say. Should I have it something fun and a little Halloween-y, or should I base their comments off of the characters on the show? I don't know, but I'll have to figure that out at some point. And now that we're close to the end of this island, I also need to start thinking about what presents I want to leave for you. I was between 2 ideas. One was a cute little fall outfit, like a sweater and a hat of some sort, and my other idea was a little costume as if you were trick-or-treating on the island, which I think would just be adorable, like you walking around in a little Halloween costume. I might actually leave an option for both ideas, and that way you can just decide what you want to wear when you come to visit. Alright, now let's talk about a few updates to the channel. It's nothing bad, so don't worry. But this past Saturday, we had the channel's first ever live stream, which was so much fun, and so many of you came to say hello, which I really can't be more thankful for. All of you are so amazing, so thank you for coming. But we started a new island called Chroma, which is going to be a rainbow forest core island, and I am so excited to work on that island with everyone. That island will be a stream island, so we will be going through and decorating it together on stream. And I know some creators have also turned their streams into videos afterwards, so depending on how it all goes, I might turn some of those streams into speed builds. For those of you who don't usually watch streams or just don't have time to watch hours long of content, but are still interested in how the island is going, so that might happen, like I said, just depending on how that whole building process goes. And then I also wanted to mention things that will be coming to the channel in the future. So after this island is complete and we do the tour, I am thinking of doing a challenge island. I put out a poll on the channel recently on if you'd be interested in me trying a challenge island, and a lot of you said yes to a 30-day or a 14-day island, and I think I'm gonna go for the 14-day island, which will be a super fast turnaround for an island. I've never really done an island in that short of time, and I'm planning for the island to be a fall farm theme. So another fall island, and we'll still be in the middle of October, so I think it will work out. And it's an island theme that I've been wanting to do for a while now. So I have a poll on the channel right now that I put out today for you to help pick the name of the island, so make sure to go vote in that poll after you watch this video. I am a little nervous to see if I can finish an island in just 2 weeks, but I think it will be a super fun series to make, and hopefully a fun thing for you guys to watch. And then last update, I have my Alaska vacation in just 11 days, which is crazy. I am super excited, but I don't know if I'll have any videos during that week for you. If I do, I need to get my butt into action and start pre-making some of those. But if I do have videos that week, just know that it might take me a little bit longer to respond to some of your comments. I always try to make sure I reply to everyone, but since this is a cruise, I might not have access to the internet the whole time, but I will get back to you once I get back to the toasty place of Florida. Anyways, we are quickly coming to the end of this build. I wanted to make sure that all of our pumpkins were fully grown in, so I'm just going through and watering them all to get bunches of 3, but let's take a look at the final product. But that is the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. Before you leave, make sure to give the video a like, comment, and to subscribe to the channel. And if you watch to the end of the video, let me know in the comments if you've ever been to a pumpkin patch. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends!